welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited to present to you my Easter bunny bags. They were kind of fun, and I resurrected an oldie but a goodie for my my bags from a little while back. I think maybe it was 2 years ago. I did a strip quilt bag, and it was a lot of fun to do and to make, and it was very simple, very easy. So I came up with the idea of using that pattern or that idea and making Easter bunny bags. Now you could make any animal you wanted. You just have to figure out the ears. You could even put floppy ears right here and just make the straps be kind of a little tie. So it could be anything. You can add eyes to it if you wanted to. And I just used the yarn right here as the little whiskers, kind of fun. And then I just put the little button here as the nose. And the little strap goes around and it buttons down. And then on the back, it's got a little tail. So you can make whatever animal you want, and I've got lots of ideas for you, okay? So this one, I used batting and the strip quilt method. So this one was the 10.5-inch squares that I used, and I just hurried and strip quilted this together, and it was a lot of fun. And then this one here, a little boy bag, I haven't put the tail on him yet. I used Minky on the sides, and I just found this little argyle, and I used it as the main color. So, and then for the ears and the strap, I used the width of the fabric. I haven't got all the threads cut, so ignore those, okay? Width of the fabric by 3.5 inches wide. And then I just sewed around it just to give it a little closing detail, whatnot, and it's just kind of fun. So let me jump in and show you how quick and easy. Now you can make this as complicated as you wanted, or you can make it as simple as you wanted. So on this one here, I'm not adding any batting in, and on this Minky one, it's not quite as structured because I didn't have any batting in it. Now this one has batting in it because I quilted the design to give it a little texture. So however you want to do it, it's all yours to work out. So let's talk a little bit about fabric and what to use. So I kind of like the idea of using a textured fabric or a fabric with lots of designs for the main piece to set it apart. Or have the textured design be on the sides, just opposite, so that you can really distinguish the little face or the square right here. This little piece right here. So that's my only little tip about that. You use what you like to use. This one here, I cut both of these out at 10.5-inch squares. The one that I'm sewing together is a 9.5-inch square. I just thought it was very easy. Let me put my fabrics right here. Very easy to cut out using my True Cut ruler. Now we have a 6.5, which you might want to make a smaller bag. We have a 9.5 and a 12.5-inch square ruler that really makes it easy for you to square up your fabrics. It's just very quick, very easy with the True Cut, and it just makes it nice and accurate. So all the layers, so you'll need 3 squares for the main part of the purse or the bag, and 3 for the lining. So not a lot of fabric. It doesn't take a lot. And then again, the ears on this one here, notice I have the little points on this one and this one. I didn't do the points on this one. I just left them square, so you can do it however you want it. If you're in a real hurry and you kind of want to make these little bags for your loved ones, it's a lot quicker, but it doesn't take that much time just to make the little points on the ears. And yes, you want to be very careful as you're poking these out, so I like to take my pin and kind of help poke them out. So, and take a pin that doesn't bend very easily. That's why I like these old style pins of ours. And you're just going to poke it out. Notice that I found a broom handle or something long to pull it right side out. anything that I have to make in a strip, even as if I wanted to have this end attached to it and make one strap, I would sew across it so I could pull it down through. So anyway, that's how that works, and see how quick and easy that makes it, just very slick. And then all I have to do is sew around it so it lays nice and flat. Now, if you want to iron it first, be my guest. I'm in a hurry, so I'm not going to iron it, but I'm going to try to keep it as flat as possible. And as I'm sewing it, it'll kind of flatten out itself. Not having that batting in there just kind of makes it a little more difficult for you to pull it out, so ironing it might be a great choice for you. Anyway, that's how that works on this one, and I did the same thing. So notice that this has a blunt end, and this one has the pointy end, and I did the same thing on the other ear. Just sewed around it just really quick, very fast, with right sides together. I'm going to show you how to do the main part next. Let me show you how I did the little strap with the whiskers. It didn't take much time. It's just little scrap pieces of fabric. So use your scraps and use fun Easter colors. Now, these are what I had here. I have a lot more at home. But anyway, so here's my little strap, and I pulled it, put right sides together. But on my whiskers, I sewed across them first, okay? Oh, I wish I could pull it back so I could show you what I did. But I did my little whiskers, and I sewed across them first, and then I pulled them right side out, and hopefully I didn't sew them to the edges. Now, I can cut them off if I feel like they're a little too long. And again, I probably would put a little batting in this one to give it a little structure like I did on these. But on this one, I didn't. I was just making it quick and easy. We all have a lot of scrap batting and things like that around, so you just might want to use that. And this is going to be hidden inside the bag, so I'm not really worried about that. I just want to make sure that I'm poking this part right here. And my machine that does the buttonhole, well, it needs to go to the shop, and I haven't done that. So let me just go around this. I just sewed around this several times, 1/4 of an inch all the way around it several times. So I'm going to just, you know how to do that. I don't need to show you, okay? And that's what I did on the ears as well, okay? For this one here, I'm just going to show you how quickly it goes together. So this is going to be my little textured piece. This is going to be the center piece right here and right here. That's what I'm using, so I want to put it on point. So what I'm going to do is, these are going to be my little side panels, this cute little polka dot blue. I'm going to put wrong sides together. And I'm going to sew from here to here, and then from here to here. And if they're not exactly the same size, it's okay. So we're going to go from here to here, and you can actually sew off and then turn it if it's easier for you. It doesn't matter. But you can just crank it down, and you don't even have to back stitch on this one. I'm just going to sew off and sew off of it, not show off, and then go up this side and see. This has a little extra, but I'm going to use this little blue piece as my guide, and I'll cut that off later. So, and then I'm just going to sew up here, just to make it the right size. All right, so that is sewn together. Okay, so you can see that that is one side. Now I'm going to take this other blue piece, wrong side, right sides together, and I'm going to sew from this point up, and then this point to this point. Very easy. So let me just turn it this way. And let me just put my points together so that I make sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold back where my seam is, and notice, okay, right here, I want to line up my square points, my corners, so that they match up. So now I'm going to sew just like I did before. Very quick, very easy this bag is. I mean, and if you want to make it a little more complicated, and I'm saying a little more complicated than this, you add the quilting to it, add the batting. I do like the batting, I have to say. It makes it stand a little nicer, and it makes it more like a little bag. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to fold it over and do my corners. So right here, see how I folded it over and did my corners so I can match up my corner to corner. And I'm just using whatever seam allowance is on this. This isn't my regular sewing machine, so I think it's 1/4 inch. Okay, so look, there's my little bag, the makings of it, and the inside. I'm gonna keep it wrong side out for right now. So now, let me sew up my lining. And you're gonna do your lining just exactly the same way. And notice my lining is this cute little blue polka dot, and it's the same size. And I'm just gonna sew down and around so you get extra practice. I'm just gonna sew off. And then this one. And I'm just gonna do the same thing, line it up. Yeah, we're almost done. I mean, this bag doesn't take much time at all other than pinning and sewing around it. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing. I have 4 of these actually. You only need 3. I'm just gonna set that right over there. And I'm going to put this so that I'm aligning my corners, okay, to corner, just like that. And I'm just gonna sew down and around. This time I'm gonna try not to sew off. Just sometimes it's a little quicker not to have to guess where your 1/4 inch and just to sew off. So I did, it doesn't matter. And now I'm just going to do the same thing. Fold that back and align it corner to corner. See how well that fits together? That's because I used my 9-inch square ruler. On the other one, I didn't. And I'm just gonna pull those. Okay, now our lining's done. Boy, that was quick. Now let's do all our pinning, and I'll just show you how quickly it goes together. Okay, so we want to put our little ears inside our bag, just like this, okay? So I want to line them up so that my little points are centered right along here. And that's where it would help if I'd sew around it, but for time's sake, I'm not gonna spend all that time sewing around it, but I will after I get it all done, okay? I will sew around it and make sure, there we go. So I want to pin it right there, and I'm going to pin my right sides together just like this. So I want to make sure my markings are lined up, and I just want to pin it, just like that, okay? Now I want to go do the other side with my other ear. I want to pull this out of the bag, and I'm going to take my other ear, put it the excess inside and my open part, and I want to make sure that I'm pinning it the same way. So make sure if you want the right side or whatever side you want up, showing, well, I want this one to be the inside, so I'm going to just put that like that. And now I'm going to take this right here and turn it just like this and match up my points and pin. Okay, so now our ears are done, okay? And they're pinned, and I'm just going to pin along here on the side to hold them in place. Just want to make sure everything's matching up. And this little point right here, when I come to the point and come down, it's going to be folded in just like you see on both of these. And you can just sew across. And let me sew this one. I pin this one to this one. Okay, now let's work on our strap and align it. All right, so now for the strap, okay? And it doesn't matter what side you're sewing the strap on. You just want to make sure, okay, that you are sewing this. And so, you know what? I should have sewn this up, but we'll fold this over and I'm going to sew that just like that and sew across it and sew it down in. Because at this point, I'm going to cut off probably some of that excess. So I'll figure that out after I get it sewn on. So this one, I want this part to come up out, just like this. So I want to fold this, tuck this down. Let me bring it up here. I want to tuck this down in here, and I want to sew along this point right here. And so I want to align my points to points and just pin. Now you're going to leave a little opening so you can turn it right side out on the bag. And I like to point up, so my points to points. So I'll use my seams as my points. Okay, so now I have this pin. Let's pin on both sides of it. And then I will leave a little opening so that I can pull it right side out, okay? So right there. All right, and now, let me pin this right here. Sometimes pins are our friend, so use them. Other times I don't use them, but on this one, I want to. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this open right here, just a little bit. This opening right here, and then we will close it. So on this point right here, I'm going to use a little larger seam allowance because as I turn it right side out, I want to be able to have a little extra to fold in and sew around like I did on this. So let me start right here, and I'm going to start right here and then sew around it, and then I'll show you what to do because that was quick. Probably one of the quickest projects, quilting projects you'll ever come across is this little bag, okay? We want to make sure that we're not sewing part of the bag to it that we don't want to. So I'm going to tie this off, okay, as I come around. And, okay, so now I want to make sure that my seam allowance is going to be a little bit bigger as I'm going around. So I'm going to do probably a half rather than a quarter. And as I come around, make sure you're taking your pins out. And I came up to this point. There we go. And I'm just going to turn and come down. And you're going to go all the way around, but remember to leave that little opening. And you know, on this one here, as I'm sewing them together, just in case I have to unpick somewhere, I left my, my seam allowance just a little bit bigger. Just one of my tips. I don't always do that, but you know, when I'm not sure of it and it's a new pattern, just on that first one, I will raise the SPIs just a little bit. And notice that I am getting back up to my 1/4 of an inch and I don't want to. Because I'm talking to you, it's like talking and driving for me. I forget what I'm supposed to be and doing, so just have to remind me sometimes. Now I'm going to push this inside the bag, okay? And I'm just going to keep going. And make sure I'm taking my pins out. And I'm almost done. This is how quick this bag is. And I'm coming up to my point. All right, now I'm going to turn and just come down right here. Just gonna kind of pull it. And I don't need too big of an opening because it doesn't have the batting and stuff, so I think we're okay with that little opening. I want to do my back stitch and I'll cut it. Okay, so now the revealing moment, okay? I've got everything, and I could cut off my excess, but before I do, I just want to make sure that it's turning and everything worked and sewed together correctly. And so before you do any cutting of the excess, just make sure you're turning it right side out and making sure that everything is sewn together that needs to be and not anything else. Sometimes when you turn it right sides together or wrong side out, you can sew part of, a wrinkle into it. So just be careful, okay, as you're sewing. That's my only tip on that one. Okay, this looks like a wadded mess, but trust me, it turns out in the end, okay? So here we go. Here is our cute little bunny basket. Now these are those little points that are okay. We don't care. We're just gonna leave them like that, and there's kind of a natural size that it turns out to be. Maybe wanna pull it just a little bit in. It kind of turns into, and then here's my lining, and I'm just gonna push it in as well. And it's slowly becoming a little bunny bag. Okay, and so as you sew around it, you're going to go around and just sew that little excess around. Oh, dang it, I forgot one key thing. Okay, I was going to do before, and I was warning myself, I even had that in there. Okay, so before you sew your lining, you're supposed to sew the nose and the tail on, okay, which for the last time I've done and I've forgotten. So anyway, you could do it after, but anyway, I forgot again. So your nose goes on down here, and I have all these little buttons. Now you could put eyes on it if you wanted to, little button eyes up here, up there. You could use whatever nose you wanted to. That kind of looks like a dog nose. So I will just use this little heart. I'm going to put it down there. It's a little pop of color, and that's what I'm going to sew. And then I'm just going to attach this. I'm going to sew this up so it's maybe not quite so long. You could do it rounded. You could do whatever you want for the whiskers. This is just my idea. You do whatever floats your boat and however you like it. Even though I don't have it all sewn up, look how cute, how fun. So you can just tie it together, and nobody's ever going to notice that if you don't do the points on the bag. You can just tie it up and make it a lot of fun. But this can be your quick little Easter bag project, and you can get it done in no time. I'll get this one finished completely and show you, and we'll get the pattern for you, and you can just figure it out as you go. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's very cute, very easy, and you'll just finish it off. And notice, I'm almost done. I just have to do my stitches around it just to make it look nice. And notice right here, I have, I sewed two pieces together to make it longer. So maybe I'll make this come into a point. That could be kind of fun to sew it, have it come into a point, rather than, or I'll maybe make it rounded. But anyway, make this bag. It's a lot of fun. I know you'll enjoy it. And look, you can do it all out of Minky if you wanted to. I was going to show you really quick how to do the tail. So I have my 3.5 inch ruler right here, okay? And let me find the end. To make the cute little tail, I want to leave a little excess, but this is what I did. I wrapped it around, and I want to bring it around like 3, 4, 5 times. You don't need to do it too much. Okay, and then I'm just going to slide it off my little ruler here and hold on to it, because I'm going to take this end right here and wrap it around a couple of times, because I'm going to make a little pom-pom, And then I'm going to take this piece right here that I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to just tie it in a good old knot. A square knot will help you. Square knots going one direction and then another direction. Just like when we were tying our quilts way back when. And then I'm going to cut this off, and then you can cut it to the size that you want, okay? So I'm going to hold my little ends and just cut them right like this. And I'm going to cut my little ends off here. Now you don't even have to do this. You could leave them rounded if you wanted to. But look at, there you have a cute little bunny tail that you could just hurry and sew on. I could just put him on the back of this one, right here. And now your bunny has a little tail. So anyway, make sure that you have fun doing this little project. Don't stress yourself out about it. It's so simple, so easy, and you'll love it. And your kids are going to love it. It's just a fun little bag. I was going to say, by the way, and one other thing, you could make this bag into a bigger diaper bag and hand it out with a little quilt to give away to a new mother, or, you know, just have fun. Do whatever you need to. Make this pattern yours. Put your own ideas and thoughts into it. And join me next time for Tuesdays with Grace. We'll see ya. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. You can get the pattern, I know a lot of people are asking, on the website. So if you are not registered, you need to make sure you're registered. Go to graceframe.com. On the home page, you'll scroll down, find Tuesdays with Grace. Go up and click on that, and then it'll take you to our platform with Tuesdays with Grace, and you'll go in and register. So make sure you're registered, and then you can scroll down to the bunny baskets, and you will be able to get this pattern tomorrow, okay? So just so you know, it's really quick, really easy. You don't really need that much of a pattern unless you get a little confused about how to put the ears on and stuff like that. So the one that I was working on, I just wanted to show you how cute it turned out. Now, I didn't make the ears pointy, but I did make the nose pointy to take care of my little problem that I had for putting it on backwards. So there are ways around your mistakes, and you guys are all good enough that you can just figure it out. Now, you can also put eyes on it and the little tail. Like I did on these two. So this one here, it has a little tail, and notice that I put the little nose on, put a little heart nose, but little eyes could be a lot of fun as well, and then the little tail on the back. So that was really fun, and this was minky, so just use up your scraps. Have a lot of fun. You could also do the reverse of this, where this little plaid or your fabrics that are textured can be on the sides, and then the minky could be this section here. So you could switch it up and do so many versions of this cute little bag. And you can make the ears pointy or straight. Depends on how much time you have. This one I finished up this morning really quick, and then just tie it. Now notice that this one here, it doesn't have any batting in between it. To give it a little bit more of a heavier feel or stiffness, I probably would put a lining or something in it just to make it a little heavier and stiffer. And then the pink one I did with the strip quilting. So it was a lot of fun too. I just used up some scraps that I had and just put this in as the bunny, and this was so quick and so easy. I just love quick and easy ideas, and just know that you can do the ears however you want, but make them long enough that you can tie them. So see what a cute little bag can carry along and fill with their little eggs, or do whatever you want. You could even make a dog with dog floppy ears, or you can make a little kitty if you're into cats. Who knows? The sky's the limit when it comes to this pattern. Just make sure that you're online and registered with Tuesdays with Grace so that you can pull it up and get this pattern tomorrow. Janine is asking, could we quilt the fabric before we sew it? Yes, and that's what I did with this little pink one right here. So I cut out my squares, I took them to the frame and did some free motion, and I just did little flowers because I wanted to make it really quick because I had to get these done pretty fast because of spring fling. And then I would probably do the little pointy right here as well because I think that's kind of fun. So that's just kind of an afterthought, but this one I just strip quilted them together. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. This one I put some batting in with this piece right here. Let me show you. I put this with batting on it. Now you could also sew straight lines, a little grid pattern, a diamond pattern to give it a little texture. You can do whatever you want. You can make it your own basket and put your little touch to it and make the grandkids or your kids or whoever you want to give them to really excited and very happy Easter morning. So, excuse me. So having said that, I just want to remind you to join me next week when I present to you my little peeps pattern. So I'm sorry I don't have water, so we'll end the program. Anyway, I just want you to remind you that there's always something new and exciting here with Tuesdays with Grace. So join me next time. I will not have the frog in my throat. The allergies will be better, I promise. So take care, have a good week, and join me next week for Little Peeps. It'll make you go sound asleep. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.